Hello everyone, Lawrence here, and actually no time for introductions today. I finally got my new keyboard. This is the Varmilo Sword 268, if there weren't any mix-up. It's been checked by customs. I had to buy this one through mechanicalkeyboards.com in the US, and then it was shipped from the US to me instead of just, Varmilo sending one or shipping them or selling them from a European web store. Now, I actually contacted Varmilo just to ask, like, hey, do you guys plan to sell this thing through European stores, because I really want one, but it's US only. And Varmilo said no, and we also can't sell this one out of the US because of, I don't know, something about magnets, which is obviously, well, bullcrap, because I have one right here, guys. Now, I wish I could go into the box from the other side, but that's where my address is listed. I have to say though, the packaging, so far, really digging it. There we go, this is the back of the box. It even comes with like little foam protection inside the DHL box so that your keyboard box arrives in good shape. That's awesome. And then in the box we also get a tiny little piece of plastic with a control and a page up button. I guess if you want to, or caps lock, I'm sorry. I guess if you want to reposition your buttons. And we have actually my address. I'm not showing this. So I'll take the keycaps, put them to the side real quick. And then we're going to open this box without cutting it or my mouse pad. Honestly, so far this is the nicest packaging I've ever had for a keyboard. It's incredible. It's a nice texture to it. I don't know if you can see it, maybe you can hear it. It's nicely textured with like shiny lettering. It looks like it's a sleeve, so I should maybe be able to push it out. Nope. Ooh. Keyboard artist, box artist as well. The back of the box doesn't really say anything. Just, I guess, the specs of it. But it's horrible for my camera to focus on, so we're not doing that. And I will show the unboxing experience for you guys, so... Well, that's fairly disappointing. But again, nicely packaged with like a quite thick, I guess this is 0.5 mil, maybe 0.6 millimeter thick foam. Then we have tiny little piece of paper, which is again horrible to get in focus. But this one shows your hotkeys, your layers, because it is a 68% keyboard. We get a cable, not a coiled cable, it's not even a sleeved cable. This is a fairly cheap cable, but USB-C on one end, USB-A on the other. This is really hard to do upside down. And in here, we have a little switch tester keychain thing. This is pretty cute. This is a linear. I don't really know all the names for the switches with Varmilo, but Varmilo obviously has their own range of switches, and that's what's in here. We also get a very nicely textured keycap, wired keycap puller, so that's nice. Obviously no switch puller because it's not a hot swap keyboard. Now, of course, for the main course here, the board itself, it is hecking heavy. But wait, I can postpone this even longer. There's also a little, I guess, warranty card. Yep, a warranty card, and that is kind of why I bought this keyboard, because it's like a real brand and you do get a warranty with it. And then a tiny little certificate of approval for ants, I guess. Anyway. Let's get this box out of the way. And holy crap, this is heavy. It's also very cold to the touch. But here it is, the Varmilo Sword 268 key. Basically the way it looks is just like a Mia Pro. And I guess everyone loves the Mia Pros as like a pre-built board. They're pretty damn awesome. but this is like the big boy full aluminum version of it. The colors are incredible. Got this lovely color scheme going on here, and this caps lock key is just the same as the one that's on there. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. We get a page up, which is the same as the page up that's on there already, and we get a caps lock, which is the same as that one that's on there already. Keycaps are very smooth. Yeah, very smooth, not textured like I was kind of expecting. But yeah, let's show you guys around the keyboard. So you got this, oh, this is super heavy. But yeah, so it's an aluminium top frame. I think this one is removable with like magnets and stuff, and they're really strong. You have a USB-C port over here, not in the center, it's like kind of offset to the right. That's a bit strange. A Varmilo branding logo on there as well. That's cool. And then the bottom, everything's like nicely, you know, all the corners are nicely done, no sharp corners anywhere. And then this is the bottom of the board. Flip out feet, you don't get that with your aluminium custom keyboard. So flip out feet, love it. Oh man, if you're into feet. Now, I finally get to look at it the way I normally would. So let's just do a quick sound check here. I'll grab my microphone. I've been using this Zoom H1 while talking. I'll just put it over here. That should do. So these are Varmilo's EC V2 clickies. This was the first time I ever typed on these switches. I can't really say much about them yet, but yeah, they seem all right. They feel like a slightly lighter, slightly smoother average MX Blue, I guess. I'm now going to mess around with it off camera, then I'll take it apart and show you the insides of this keyboard, because there's basically no info about that stuff anywhere. Alrighty, so I gave it a quick keyboard test. It's amazing for what it is. But first up, I'm going to show you what's inside. So the main thing is, first of all, these keycaps. So as you can see, the printing on here is good, but it's not the sharpest. There's a slight texture to the keycaps, but again, it's not super grippy, but also not super smooth. I don't think they're the best keycaps I've ever seen, but they're definitely good enough, just not the sharpest legends on there ever. So looking at the actual keyboard itself, you can see this is Varmilo's IV V2 EC switch, so an electrocapacitive switch. It just sounds like a clicky, but it's pretty smooth and very well defined, I'd say. The wobble on here is average. It's not an amazing switch, not a bad one. It's just like a slightly above average clicky, I'd say. But definitely one of the better clickies I've tried yet. Then the aluminium framework comes off like so. The framework just comes off with magnets. On the inside there's all sorts of magnets screwed onto this frame. Even this little Varmilo brand logo is screwed onto here. That's pretty cool. And then to disassemble your keyboard, there's screws, 8 screws, 4 on top, 4 in the bottom, and then one of them was covered with a little sticker over here to basically see if people have been messing around with the keyboard. But as you can see, this one now moves off as well. And then inside there's just the tiniest little bit of cheap foam, and nothing special here. I was kind of expecting more, to be honest. And then here you have the bottom half of the aluminum housing, the top half, and then all these extra magnets. This keyboard is just a bunch of magnets. I don't know if this really drives home that point, but there's a bunch of magnets in here. Now it's not like magnet mounted or anything. Again, you have these tabs with 8 screws to hold everything in place. But the machining on here is incredible actually. It's a very nice tight fit, but it's not like hard to put it in, but there's also not a lot of wiggle room. And again, you screw this down so there's like no rattling or anything. But no machining marks. Everything's super smooth, nicely anodized. The mechanism for the feet, again, this mechanism is pretty good. It's just a cam with a little leaf spring, I guess, but it works really well. I'm really digging it. Now, the board itself, green PCB, I mean, for, what is it, $325 that they asked for this keyboard. For me, it was even more because, you know, customs and shipping and everything and import taxes and all that. I would like, you know, a black PCB or, you know, something that fits the keyboard more. You're not really going to see it, but, you know, whatever. It's some sort of integrated plate design, I guess, or a top mount, whatever you want to call this. But the switch clips into the plate and is soldered onto the PCB with just one screw, basically a ground holding the PCB in place, and then your USB-C port up top. No daughter board, none of that. Now, the switches I was very impressed by, actually. The stabilizers, I'm sorry, very impressed by them. They feel amazing. The stabilizers are just incredible. They are not rattling at all. Perfectly smooth. They don't feel like overlooped, because that's how I solve rattly stabilizers. As you can see right here, these are just your average clip-in stabilizers, but they are very nice fitting, perfectly looped, hand looped as well by Varmilo, and they work. They don't rattle. They're perfect, really. So guys, thank you very much for sticking around this long into the video. I'm just going to give this keyboard a quick conclusion. First of all, the design and the finish of it I absolutely love. I cannot fault it when it comes to build quality, when it comes to assembly. There's no scratches, no imperfections at all. The stabilizers are looped perfectly. Absolutely awesome. No rattliness. Not that you would hear it with a clicky keyboard, and perhaps for you guys you would maybe better watch a video with linear switches to really hear how the stabilizers feel, but they're perfect, I can tell you that. Really impressed when it comes to that. I could not do it as well myself. Now, the design itself, the mechanical design, it's a very simple keyboard when it really comes to it. It's complicated because of all these magnets. I mean, they could have glued magnets in place, or they could have used a steel bottom case, called it a day, but they didn't. And yeah, it's not a gasket mount or anything special that way. I personally don't mind. If I didn't mind, I wouldn't have bought this. But it does feel really good. To type on, very nice and strong and sturdy, no flexing or anything. I know a lot of people these days do want a bit of flex to make the keyboard softer. I think you should just get lighter switches. It just depends on, you know, who you are, what your preference is. Of course, the big question is this pre-built $325 keyboard worth it? Of course not. How could a keyboard ever be worth this much money? It is a luxury item designed for those who actually want to spend this much and who want this specific keyboard. There are a lot of keyboards in this form factor for sale, plastic or aluminum. This is Varmilo just saying, look, here's the very best we can do as a company at a large scale. I mean, these are just available from stock. It's not like your very custom group buy aluminium keyboard that only, you know, 100 or 200 of them exist. This is more mass produced, but again, it is Varmilo not holding back, saying this is our flagship, this is what we can do. And I'm actually very impressed. Should it be a little bit cheaper? I think so. I would like it if it was actually for sale in Europe, without, you know, adding another $100 and just getting it here. That would have been nice. But I'm pretty happy with my purchase. I guess this will be my new main keyboard. And I guess that's my opinion on the Varmilo Sword 2-68. Of course, you can go bigger as well. If you really want to spend money, you can get the big boy 108 key version of it. But this is good enough for me and my wallet. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you want more videos by me, hit that subscribe button. I think it's over here somewhere. Maybe it's over there. And yeah, thumbs up and the bell thing, and everything is free on YouTube. So just, you know, subscribe. It helps me out, and you'll get videos whenever I post them. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.